about the real. Talk a real topics, no facts. Talk a real shit and you know that. That's a fact. Chip, chat, and chill. Talk about the real. Talk a real topics, no that. Talk a real shit, know that. That's a fact. Chip, chat, and chill. Talk about the real. Talk whatever you want, whenever you want, whenever you want.
Welcome everybody back to Chip Chat and Chill. This is your midday or midweek adult recess where we laugh and we play and we have great conversation over snacks and we have great chill time. Tonight, our special episode, we have great fun guests and happy hour in effect. So do get ready for the fun ride. How is everybody tonight?
Good.
I'm chilling. I'm chilling.
I'm great.
I'm glad to see everybody doing well. This is a special episode near and dear to my heart. I just really wanted to give these guys flowers for being so excellent and being so well-versed in their field and their industry. And I feel the two of them should definitely have their flowers, and they represent the culture and their industry very, very well. They're very diverse, they're educated, they're fun, they're very well balanced. And that's what we're all about here at Chip Chat and Chill. So I had to have them on. So I'm glad for them to be here. And I'm glad to have their yes. They've trusted the Chip Chat and Chill platform with their expertise and their fun and their energy. So I'm so excited to have them on tonight. Of course, we have our co-host on tonight. Welcome back, Desmond. How you doing? Tonight's special guests, we have two male African-American educators. And I feel like in some parts of the world and in some parts of our country, we're here in the U.S., we're a little underrated. So I just wanted to give them their flowers and give them their shine tonight. So tonight we have online, he's a Metro Atlanta academic coach, a lifelong student, a community male mentor, and a fun guy. Please, everybody, welcome to the show, Mr. Kelcey Wright.
Hello, everybody. What's up, everybody?
And also online tonight, we also have our second male educator on the line. He is also a Metro Atlanta educator, a special needs educator, a pickleball coach. We're going to talk about that also. A podcast host and an entertainer. Please welcome Mr. Coach Clark.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? I like that introduction of entertainer. I never thought I'd produce as an entertainer, but that's cool. I take that. Follow me on
That you are. That you are. Fun fact, I have known Emory before his voice changed. And from the time I knew you and your brother, y'all were hilarious. Y'all were a joy in high school, okay? They were funny. So I'm not going to age myself, but yeah, they were a lot of fun. And he still is. So if you guys get a chance to catch Coach Clark on the internet, his stories are tonight. Yeah, he'll keep you laughing. And with your permission, if I can, I'll share a few clips here and there from like your experience, especially like the latter end of 2021. I saw you guys had a really good end to the school year, and you were a very big inspiration. I saw your community give you your flowers as well. So they were very well deserved. I just wanted to let you know I'm so proud of the both of you. Kelcey just graduated. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yes. It was a long time coming.
Two very hardworking men. I'm just very proud of you guys. So before we get into our conversation, we usually have a munch and learn to go around and see if anyone is snacking on anything, drinking on anything, or if you want to share anything that you've been craving lately out of the blue or you're staying away from. Is there any type of food fetish you may have developed or anything you tried for the first time recently?
Well,
who wants to go first?
Oh, it's on me first. I didn't know we were supposed to have a drink, so I'm gonna pour me up a drink. Right now I have some pizza. I've been craving hot wings. So I always eat them on Friday. I wait on Friday to eat them. So it's almost Friday. And I'm gonna pour me up a drink while everybody else tells me about their food. Is that okay?
You sure can. And actually, you know, guys, wings are a love language. So that's quite a waste of money.
Not a love language.
Let me tell you, I love a good wing. I do plan on going pescatarian the moment I support it on a regular basis. But you're gonna have to
You,
catch me because I love a
you
chicken wing.
Pentecostal. You
Nah.
Pentecostal. You grew up Pentecostal. How you pescatarian now? Mm-mm. God is not pleased.
I will do it. I will do it. I bet you when we get together for Friendsgiving, when Chip Chat and Chill, we get together for Friendsgiving and we have seafood, you ain't gonna have nothing to say. You're gonna be busy eating. Watch.
Yeah, because I'm not just that. I'm something else too. I ain't pescatarian.
So
I ain't
what are you
pescatarian. We
eating,
like
Dustin?
drums in our church.
What are you eating?
Who me? I was eating rasta pasta with grilled chicken, grilled jerk chicken.
All
Grilled chicken.
right.
It was pretty good.
All
It was pretty
right.
good.
Kelsey?
Oh, well, yeah, I forgot about that too. But I'm drinking currently a cup of coffee, and a bottle of water.
Ooh, wait.
Um, and I do have a little oatmeal pie over here. I'm probably gonna bust open in a little bit. But I have been craving Indian food.
Really?
It's this spot off in North DeKalb, I think off Lawrenceville Highway, called I think it's Zachia. I've been wanting to go back there for some time now.
I think I seen
Um, yes, it's next to like a Montessori school or something, but
it. Okay.
I really want some chicken 65 so bad.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah.
Feel free, feel free. All right, coach, what you got?
All right, man, coach. I want, you know what I'm saying, and
All
mixed it with
right.
just a little tad bit of fruit punch, maybe a little something
Hey.
to get back right with y'all, man.
What you know about Grizz?
Coach,
What you
Coach,
know about
you got
Grizz?
the good drink over there. You got the white Henny.
I
Yeah,
seen that too.
that cruise ship special.
That's the cruise ship special. Look. You can only get that across the waters. Yeah, that's across the waters. You can only get that across the water. You can't get that on this side of the water. You got to go on the other side of Jordan to get that. You can't get that over here. No.
I kept it simple. I just got a mango tropical punch, and it's pretty good. So, cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
It looked like a smoothie from here.
That was breakfast. It's 11:40 p.m. over here. A.m. I'll be on the smoothie tip. So we got that out the way. Now, usually, time a few in between, we do usually have a few pop culture grievances that are going on in the culture that may be trending or under someone's feathers, or just something like for discussion. So usually, if there's something that's getting on Desmond's nerves, or he just wants to hash it out or go over something, this is his time to do that. So do you have any grievances, Desmond?
Yeah, I actually do have a grievance. It is with the NBA and how they treat the players. As we all know, last year was the bubble, and the games went later on in the season because of COVID, and they didn't really know what to do, whatever like that. But I feel like the NBA players came back too early, hence why we have so many injuries now, and why so many people are hurt. You got LeBron that's hurt, you got Kawhi that's hurt now, and now you have Chris Paul that's hurt. Now you have Kyrie Irving that's hurt. You have all these people that are hurt because their bodies are not getting the proper rest that they need. And let's just keep it real, as black men, we need that because we already have so many things against us health wise. We need that proper rest to do the things that we need to do. And essentially it's dumb because this is how they support their families, even though they're on contract, but this is what they were born to do, what they were destined to do, and you're stopping that progress. That's not cool. So I have a big problem with the NBA, and I feel like they should treat our men a little bit better than what they do. The NBA is made up 90% of black people, if we just want to keep it real. 90% of the NBA is black. I'm not going to say 100% because you do have other races, other cultures in the NBA. But let's keep it real. The face of the NBA is the black community. Point blank simple. Basketball is our sport. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I just feel like they need to do their due diligence and make sure that the players are all okay. You know what I'm saying? And everybody that I name is black, and they are the top players. So that's just my grievance with the NBA. Anybody got anything else you want to add to that?
Well, I stick to the NBA, man. Is anybody who was against the Atlanta Hawks, we got a chance to go to the championship just like anybody else. So anybody was hating on Atlanta. And speaking on hating on Atlanta, man, you hating on the Migos. I got a grievance of anybody hating on the Migos. Migos is still right. So anybody hating on the Migos, Ice Tray, and Lil Couple Lou, I got a grievance against you.
I ain't gonna hold you. The Migos is my favorite. The Migos is my favorite rap group. Like,
Really?
like I love them.
Wow.
They all, yeah, I love Migos. Culture wise, I feel like they changed the face of the culture. Just by their dressing, by their music, by their style, they have major influence. And I just so happened to go to one of their concerts, and it was amazing. Like it was hands down amazing. Like
They're
just
a whole
how they
pop.
sound on the records, they sound live.
That part, I like
You
that.
said?
They're a whole pop. I love them. I have no qualms with the Migos. They all right with me.
Yeah, they
Nah,
cool.
me neither. They all right to me too. Yeah, they good. I like them. They're a good group. I'm glad we have like something like that in hip hop right now.
Yeah, they came out right time.
Definitely. And hopefully it'll pave the way for other groups to to form in hip hop. We don't really see that. We don't really see that in hip hop right now. We're not really seeing like rap groups like how we did like back in the day. You know what I'm saying? So I like the
Yeah,
fact that the Migos is keeping that alive and they're keeping like the whole group thing alive. Even though each one of them do their separate thing, they don't forget about what they got going on. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
I like that. I like that a lot. Quavo's my guy.
that's what's up. All right.
I like them.
Anything else you want to get off your chest?
No, I think I'm very cool with everything else.
All right
Yeah,
then.
I'm good.
All right. Well, let's get into this conversation real quick. So I just really, again, wanted to give you guys your flowers because, again, you're doing so well. And I could really tell from the feedback I get either personally or through the things that I've seen down my timeline on social media as I follow you guys, that you guys have really been making a positive impact to your community. Conversation. I just wanted to learn a little bit more about you and share you guys with our community and just find out a little bit more about your start and like where you are now with your journey through education. And one of the things that sparked my interest is because I remember a colleague of mine that's in almost the same industry. They're acting, they have their own show, they're a parent. One eye opener for me that I didn't realize, for those that don't know, my name is as ethnic as it gets, obviously, Zachia. My husband as well. My husband and my son are both named after Kwame. He's a major, big part of apartheid in Africa in the 70s. So, as ethnic as my son's name is, and as Caucasian Southern his community is, I realized he doesn't see a whole lot of people that look like him when he goes to school. A few here and there in his classroom, but definitely not teaching him. If he did ever have an educator that he could identify with, it was for something very temporary, be it like, for example, when we were on quarantine last year, we had a lot of access to a lot of free information, educational programs, workshops, etc. And the thing I immersed him in was he's a STEM kid. He loves science. He loves math. And there was, I forget his last name, but Melvin, he's a NASA astronaut. And he did a free 1 hour webinar about space and his journey, his education, how he became a NASA astronaut, etc. And that was one of the few experiences he's ever had with someone of color educating him. And I realized my other colleague, his son was learning financial literacy through a Black educator. And I thought that was amazing, especially because I feel like our age range, our generation, we didn't really have a solid footing and preparation as far as financial literacy across the board. Some of us did. Some of us grew up a little differently, right? And some of us caught on. Maybe in high school we had economics and we got introduced to stocks and bonds and things like that. We're never immersed in financial literacy at home or within our culture. Can we agree on that?
Yes.
I agree.
So when I saw that, I thought that
Yeah.
was amazing. He was learning things like, good credit, bad credit. He was learning about, saving and purchasing and leasing and et cetera. So when I thought about putting together this episode for Chip Chat and Chill, I said, duh, I do know some very good Black male educators, female educators, and I want to celebrate them and give them a chance to speak from their experience. So whoever wants to go first, my first question was, what inspired you to get into education and who were your mentors along the way?
Well, go ahead. Okay.
I start Coach Clark. I started in education. It started when one of my first football coaches, Coach Love, RP Coach Love, he worked basketball, and it was to train 5 and 6, 5 to year old basketball. And so I came up there, got up there, we set up, and I helped out. And then when he took me back home, he gave me $25. And I was like, for that? And he was like, yeah. I was like, oh, okay, bet. And so my next job, I begged my mama, my first job was a camp counselor. I used to work at Camp Smile a lot, Clayton Camp. And like, I always enjoyed little ones. And so like when I was going through high school, I knew I wanted to work with little ones. I just didn't know how. And when I got to Fort Valley and decided on a major, it was between being an elementary school teacher and being a PE teacher. I felt like I would have more passion pursuing PE. So that's how I got started in physical education.
I love it. And like I said, I see your students do love you. Like you have such unmatched energy for them. It was like a match. It was the perfect match. You definitely were in your bag when you got in that zone, because it definitely suits you well. All right, Kelcey.
Well, first, let me start off by telling Coach, I do apologize for your undergrad decision that you chose to go to the wrong HBCU in South Georgia, where you should have attended the unsinkable Albany State University, where I went, where your potential will be realized. So anybody knows Fort Valley and Albany State are definitely rivals. So I had to throw that in there when he said he went to Fort Valley. Or I'm sorry, the Fort Valley State University. So I had to definitely throw that in there. Little friendly rivalry, ASU all day long. But wow, how did I get started in education? So I actually come from a family of educators. My mother is definitely a teacher, has been for 32. She retired after teaching for 32 years in elementary school. So I grew up in school. I grew up around teachers. I grew up around Black teachers, basically. So it's something that was always inside of me. When I got to high school, I decided that I wanted to be an attorney initially. So I joined mock trial and all that kind of stuff, and got involved in that side of it. And then my junior year, they created a new class called Teaching as a Profession over in high school. So I decided to see what that class was all about. And I absolutely fell in love with the class. And that is one reason that I became a teacher. Ninth is most of the people that have had a strong influence on my life have been my teachers. One, my ninth grade science teachers, Miss Darden, Miss Williams. If they ever see this, they know they were big influences on me becoming a teacher. Throughout high school, I didn't have teachers. I had influencers, motivators, and mentors. And that's what made me want to become a teacher. And I love kids. If anyone knows anything about me, I do. My life is consistent of young people from work to church to community. I deal with young kids all the time. Specifically middle school age group is my heart.
You definitely do have a special streak of patience with children. I definitely will say that. I've seen that for quite a while. In fact, a fun fact, Kelcey, I don't know if you're aware or not. And if this is the official moment that you're aware of, you know, you are the kid's honorary godparent. You do know that, right?
Yes, I do know that.
They love him, especially it's right. So yeah, Kelcey, when you come around, Crim's like testosterone. Yes, Uncle Kelcey. Yes.
That's my little buddy.
Because Emory, my girls run his life.
Zachia,
Yeah.
Kelcey. So I did go to Fort Valley, but I graduated from Valdosta State. So even though y'all are unsure, we run the 229.
Nah, not really, but you know, I feel better now that you did not finish at Fort Valley. And I'm just joking. I love it.
Blazer, Titletown, USA.
I love it. And actually, Key, I want to add a little bit to that, if you don't mind, for what I said earlier. You know, actually, another reason why I decided to stay a teacher was because of Albany State. Walking in on the campus, you know, when my first time on a campus tour, I had the privilege of actually going to meet the dean of the college of education, the coordinator for middle grades education and everything, and they took me in like their child. So that also did something to me. That's okay. I felt at home with the department. I still talk to some of them to this day, and I think that's also what really cultivated me to continue to be a teacher as well, was the love that I received going to college. And I'll tell anyone who wants to be a teacher, if you know that's what you want to do, when you get to school, make sure you build that connection with those professors and whatnot, because they're the ones that's going to make or break you, honestly. They're teaching you things, real life teaching and not textbook teaching, then you're good to go. Actually, what's going to happen in a real classroom and not what certain authors say classrooms looks like, you'll be good to go.
Also, man, if I could piggyback off, man, you mentioned a point where in Albany they it felt like home, and that's the difference between a PWI and HBCU. Being that I went 2 years in Fort Valley, and I finished at Valdosta State, the level of community and care is different at a HBCU than at a PWI. So, man, I'm happy that you went there, man, and got you into education, man. That's awesome, man, to hear that.
Yes, and I'm glad. I'm just glad that you're a teacher in general, bro. Like being a black male educator in the field that you're in, from what you just said earlier, is also phenomenal. Working with the special needs population, we definitely need more black males in the special need population, because there's not a lot of them, especially ones that care the way that you care, and I can hear it in your voice. You know.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Kia. You know.
No problem. I'm loving what's happening. I'm glad that I got the two of you together, because that two things, patience and care, they're so essential when it comes to being an educator. If you don't have both, at least to start with, then I definitely would discourage anybody who was looking into trying to be an educator, because you definitely need both, especially when you're dealing with very small children, middle to lower. Yes, high school for sure, because they will try your nerves and they will try your gangster. But when you're in the most impressionable stages of, like, say, preschool, elementary, and middle, you definitely need a lot of patience and a lot of care, genuine care, you know, for their development and their education. Sidebar question: as a black male educator, do you ever feel like an odd person out, or do you feel underrepresented, or do you feel privileged to be such, and you want to carry on, you know, the pride to a point where you want to inspire others like yourself to come up under you?
So if I can start that one off. It really just depends on where you are and where you're teaching. Like for me, for instance, I've always taught in predominantly minority schools. Mm-hmm. So for me, my being the black male teacher wasn't the issue. Being a male teacher was more of the issue. Mm-hmm. Not an issue, but more of the thing. Because my first year teaching, I was on a team with 3 other females. Strong black, they were black women, strong black women, held it down. But being the male on the team, all the young men, looked up to you. Every young man that had an issue, go see Mr. Wright, go see Mr. Wright, go see Mr. Wright.
Yeah.
So you end up being that influence for the guys in the school. There were at my first school I taught. I've only taught at two schools. I believe in staying somewhere for a minute to actually learn the school and actually be there. I try not to move around too much. So this is only my second school that I've been at now. But at my first school, me and about two other black male teachers there started a mentoring program there. And that actually changed the game, for the guys there. So I do not feel underrepresented in my situation, but I do know overall black male teachers are underrepresented. In the small microcosm where I am, I'm not. But if I go outside of the metro Atlanta area in other parts of the state or in other states, I know I'm definitely going to be a minority. When I went to grad school, I went to Kennesaw State. I was the minority. I was the only male in most of my classes. For my master's degree, I was the only black in some of my classes. So that was very challenging. Classmates love to hear your perception, your perspective on everything, coming from an urban setting, or hearing how you approach different issues than how they approach them, and being in groups was really interesting. So that's my thought on that.
That would definitely interest me, because especially now. So you finished in the middle of a pandemic, in the middle of a quarantine shutdown because of COVID, unfortunately.
Yep.
I don't mean to pause or butt in, but while I'm thinking about this, since you mentioned the whole you being the only black student, I wanted to pick your brain to find out, especially in the heat of George Floyd and Black Lives Matter and things like that. That's not a coincidence. What was your experience like with your peers?
So let me see. What was I taking then? Okay, I didn't take summer classes last year. So I took one summer class, but it was like a research class. So we didn't talk about any of those things in that class. But I will say this: discussing inequalities and race and whatnot was not a focus when I was there. Their big thing was teaching during the pandemic. So we had to they altered our entire capstone paper on how are you going to teach during the pandemic. They didn't really there was no focus on the race side of it or what was happening with the riots, George Floyd, Aubrey, none of those things. It was all about, how are you going to, they kept education at the forefront. So there were not any conversations on that. Now, we had a few discussions where I would always just slide in a little bit about it in discussion. No, not really many comments made on it, but most of it was, they did a good job of, I wouldn't even say a good job, but they focused a lot on what the task at hand was. They didn't speak ill about it, but they didn't speak positive of it. Now, I will say this, I did have a couple of black professors who did not mention it necessarily, but it just didn't come up. But I know if I would have said something about it, or if anybody would have said something about it, it would have been open space for us to talk about it. So I'm not gonna definitely throw them completely out, but that's kind of how that worked. Yeah. Now I'll be honest with you. Now and today, if I was in school now, being what's happening in Georgia now with the critical race theory and our governor saying that, hey, we should not talk about anything that's going to discredit any race in our state. Now it'll be a discussion, I'm sure. Today, as a matter of fact, I was looking up, I'm trying to go to the National Council for Social Studies Conference in November or December. So I was looking to see what their focus is online, and they even have sessions about it, talking about how to teach critical conversations, how to have critical conversations in the classroom, and how to talk about anti-racism and whatnot in the classroom, and whatnot. So that's a national focus. But for Georgia to actually say, hey, we're not going to talk about it, I think some other states are also trying to follow suit, like Florida. I feel like that's an issue. You know, we're trying to hide. I feel like they're trying to hide something that's there.
For sure.
And I think that's the big thing. But overall, you can't hide it, especially now since I'm not sure, as I think today or yesterday, Juneteenth is on its way to being an official holiday. So it's kind of ironic to me how in Georgia we're saying, hey, no critical race theory, can't talk about that, can't talk about anything that's going to discredit any other race, but Juneteenth is our national holiday. That just doesn't add up to me, but maybe Coach got his own thoughts on it too. But I just that to me, I feel like that's a little different. I feel like our kids need to black, white, Puerto Rican, Chinese, and Haitian. All of our kids need to know about everybody's history, regardless. I don't care what it is. Slavery happened, you know, and both races have good things that happen to them. So let's just talk about everything. Don't try to discredit one from another in education. I think as far as teachers are concerned, though, as long as we know how to present it, as long as we know how to talk about it in the classroom, that's all that should matter. As long as you're not being biased, as long as you're not imparting your personal beliefs on the child, you should talk about it in the classroom.
Right.
Yeah, well, so, for me, man, for the first question, Zachia, did you have those all those emotions that you listed? You said, did we feel overwhelmed or undervalued? Could you repeat those, or did you know those
sure.
off the top of your head? Okay.
Sure. I was wondering if you ever felt undervalued or underrepresented, especially being that you're so, fluent and successful being a special needs educator. Did you ever feel isolated or underrepresented?
Yeah, definitely. All right. So adjectives when it comes to being a black educator. For me, my journey, man, I always hid, like you all say, you can hear I always hid my passion, but I always knew that it would come with more responsibility that I didn't necessarily want to do. But God put it on my heart, man, about 2 or 3 years ago to start doing the things because I have a gift to reach the youngins. And so during this time, seeing my impact with my energy, with my words, with my actions, the things that I do around the school, and to see that not only does it affect, but it affects the teachers around it. They want to do more because they be doing more. And I think that, man, when little girls and little boys see men being nurturers and having a level of care, because they always hear a woman's voice. They get up to a woman's voice, they come in and just out, and then so when it's a man speaking to you with love and care, it's a whole bunch. It's different. So I always encourage. I know a lot of history shows that education is typically not a manly occupation, and so we got to kind of maybe change that stigma and encourage more men and more black men to either volunteer more at the schools, be more active in the community to show these kids they care about them, they care about their growth, and they care about their education, they care about their grades. Me being a coach, I never wanted to just be Coach Clark. I care about, like you said, Zachia, I cared about people wanting to be at school and wanting to be around me. So I knew my power and my energy with the young folks. I want to spread that to the staff as well. And so we talked about the COVID. The COVID really hurt my heart because I was just getting into the person that I'm supposed to be. I was just nominated for Teacher of the Year for my first time. Yes, and so this next year I was gonna celebrate, but we was on COVID. And so like I'm the life of the party. I come in, I sing the school song, and so it's hard for me to deal with the fact that I wasn't gonna see kids because that's the main reason I'm here. So I created a morning show. I did a lot of things virtually this year that really helped me connect with kids that I never would have connected with because I'm a special needs teacher. But I was able to connect with the whole school through my morning show, through special Olympic events that we did virtually, virtual Black History programs. I thought outside the box, and it really showed me as a Black male teacher, if you show a little bit of care, it's different. It's just a different situation. Also, to back off that George situation, I remember that was almost in the beginning of when we was on shutdown and lockdown on that joint, and it made me shut the TV off. It made me turn CNN off. It made me turn all that stuff off. And I went underground to see how could I be a solution-based person that focusing on the problem. And really, the solution is, man, we got to get more men to adopt these schools, more churches to adopt these schools. It's church on every corner. Adopt the school. Your ministry could be in a young person life. You feel me? So I feel like we undervalue, represented, but the people that are there, Mr. Kelcey, me, people that are in the building, the men that are in the building, we're powerful, and we can do a lot of things if we just put our spirit and our mind behind it. Because we can't do it without the woman. We can't do it without the woman.
Yeah, and I like what you said about, pretty much to some, like I said, men really stepping up and being more involved in the school and bringing church and the whatnot involved, because that's what matters. They need to see guys, like you just said. They need to see men in education. We are change agents. Like, it doesn't matter if you want to be or not. You're more than just discipline. You're there for influence, and to mentor, the guys. And I think that's the big part of it. I think that's a big part. I feel I'm in middle school, so I feel like every team should have a male teacher, if not more than one. Luckily at my school, we're blessed to have, we're blessed to have 1 to 2 males on every academic team. And I think that's gonna change the trajectory of our school totally, like, for real.
I feel like if we see, and it's different for elementary school, because I feel like if we get, just like you said, one on every team, so we can get a kindergarten through 5th grade male teacher, that'll change the whole situation from the beginning. But most men, they don't want to put babies.
Yeah, we run the middle of high school.
Right.
Yeah, we run the middle of high school. I know some very influential elementary school male teachers as well. One guy I'm not sure if you are familiar with Mr. Hines. He was the Georgia State pre-K teacher. Very influential in the pre-K programs in the state. He did a really good job with just being a male force in early childhood education. And I feel like that motivated a lot of men and young men to go to early childhood, and do pre-K through 5th grade. That's not my heart, though. That ain't my heart. I can't do it.
I need them at Zachia. We need them in elementary school.
Yeah. I love the middle school. I love the middle school babies. 6th grade to 8th grade. I love them.
I'm so glad that you said that, Emory, out loud. And definitely when they're starting, when they're fresh, when they're impressionable, that would be such a game changer. I definitely agree with that. So now that you've definitely mentioned some initiatives, so building better bridges between church and school, forget church and state, because that's something that the school and the church can get together and they can work on state reform, right? Building a better bridge between church and school was one initiative you said would be a good way to mend the lack of representation in education. I was going to ask, what were some other ways that we could fill that gap or boost the population of representation in your field? Because one thing that we do have to consider as well is you guys' communication styles. So I'll back up a little bit and just get into that. I know you've definitely both have gotten in your creative groove and found ways to be innovative and still get engagement with your students and with your staff and with the schools that you represent. During quarantine, you found, a way to do your morning show. You were able to connect and reach with students you probably wouldn't have been able to, meet and greet with if there weren't a pandemic. So that was definitely a smart move. What are some other ways you find your communication style works that makes you impactful for the students that you have a responsibility over?
Right. I think for the most part, man, we just need more volunteers, more people willing to do the career fairs, the volunteer, just come in, just if they even monitor breakfast, or you know what I mean, or monitor the car loop, or help walk the kindergartners down the hall. That would mean something to a 3rd and 4th grade, 5th grade students to see a man in the building helping out. just from the base level, volunteers, people people who are involved in those things, like brother, uncle, granddad, whoever's involved in that child's life, donate a little time, because time is the most valuable resource. And if they can donate some time and things of that nature, man, I think that could really change.
I agree on that, because now that you said that out loud, every time I had the car pickup responsibility to get my son from school, it was always women flagging us and, you know, organizing the line and organizing the classes to come out at the whatever appropriate door. It would definitely be better. Now, I will say, to his school's credit, that the principal is definitely very involved. He's a white male, but he's still, you know, it's not something that's that identifiable to my son in particular. But yeah, your guys' presence, there's a different sense of protection overall when you guys are in the building, when you're on campus, when you're involved in leadership, and when you're taking strategy and being intentional about being there and showing your care and extending your hand. It definitely does make a difference. Kelcey, you want to answer that?
Yeah, I want to go back a little bit. I think your first part of your question talked about communication and things we do to engage the students, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I want to hit that point before I get to the United Community Front. So I know specifically I am a very animated person. I'm a character in the classroom. I believe in, so I know we didn't talk about this, but I'm on paper, I'm a history teacher. I'm a social studies teacher. So I'm certified in social studies and language arts. So that's my heart, right? History, specifically Georgia studies, is what I love. So one thing I would do is be authentically myself as I'm teaching. My students know Mr. Wright. Like, they know me. If they see me in the neighborhood, they know me. Also, we have to bring back the sense of, so I'm going back and forth here, but it'll make sense in a second. We have to bring back sense of community from teachers in the school, meaning work in your community if you can. Me, I live, work, go to church in the same community where I teach. Right? So my students see me in my place of worship. They see me at the grocery store. They see me going to vote. They see me, you know, hanging out with family. They see me in other places. When they say they were at such and such house, I know what such and such house was. When they say they went to the movies, I know the movie that they went to. I might have saw them. So that makes them respect me more in the classroom because they know I'm human and I don't sleep in the school, right? I know. Like, sometimes if you're an elementary school teacher, you probably get this coach a lot. They see you out and about, and they're like, "You leave the school? You leave the school?" Well, guess what, y'all? Middle school kids think the same thing. Even though their parents might be a teacher, for some reason they think we don't leave the school. So when they see me outside, it really allows me to build that relationship. I'm a relational teacher all the time. I know my kids by name. I find out their family. I talk to them. I call parents and talk to parents like, "Hey, look, Johnny need help. How are we going to help Johnny? What can I do to support you? Do I need to meet you on Saturday at the library? I mean, do we need to, what we got to do? What we got to do?" Because that's what it takes, right? As far as like in the classroom, no engagement, bring your lessons to life. You know, teachers have to make sure, especially male teachers, be creative. You know, I know there's a unit I used to teach on the New South, and we talk about the Jim Crow, and we talk about the Atlanta race riots of 1906. I destroyed my classroom. I would literally throw paper on the floor. I wish I had a picture I might send you a picture to flip up here, but I would throw paper on the floor. I would flip the desk over, all type of stuff. Play the music in the background. My kids would come into the room, and their job is to figure out what's happening. They were like, "Mr. Wright, what's wrong with your classroom? What's going on here?" You know, I've turned my classroom into, when we talk about Leo Frank case, about the young girl, Mary Fetterman, got murdered at the pencil factory, right? That's not standards. I would make my classroom, the pencil factory, into a murder scene. You know, talking about Jim Crow. When the kids walk down the hallway, on the water fountains, blacks only, whites only. You know, they come to the classroom. I wouldn't do, because I taught mostly primarily African American kids, I would say girls and boys. So I would do gender based. So I would say girls on this side, guys on this side. I would treat the girls better than the guys sometimes, you know, in that class setting. I would do things like that. I would bring social studies alive, and I would get my teammates involved too. I was always blessed to be in a classroom where I could close the door to our little hall, and it's just me and my team. So we could close the door and really make social studies come to life right there. We would dress up. I would get the math teachers involved. They would do the same thing. So when the kids come to my room, they understand Jim Crow. Because you can use this pencil sharpener. You can use the electric pencil sharpener if you was black or white or a boy or a girl. You had to use the handheld one. Or we'll even get the little hand ones that you have to screw like this. We'll do things like that to teach them the concept, right? And it sticks with them. So now they're happy to be in school. And guess who's teaching that to them? A black man, right? Someone whose history line aligns with what's happening, right? So that makes a lot of sense. So engagement, relationships, and being creative is how we're gonna move this generation to the next level, right? And then you talk about building a united community front. I'm gonna pretty much agree with Coach when he was saying, you know, getting the churches involved, you know, getting others involved. There's no reason why we shouldn't have volunteers in the community. Your county or city leadership, your mayors, right? Your legislative people, your congressmen, your council members. They should be involved. Your police force, right? They should be involved in the school. Walk the kids to class. Come in, like you all said, work the car lines. You know, I don't have car lines in middle school, but you know, work outside, volunteer. And I also think every school should have a male mentoring program. Period. Every single school should find one man or a group of guys to have a male mentoring program. I think that is key. Because now these guys have something to look forward to other than just sports. Because all young men are not playing sports. That was me. I didn't play sports in school. I'm not a sports guy. You know, I'm more of a watch the news and, you know, I'm a geek. You know, that's more me in that sense. So, you know, I'm more into those things. I was the one that was SGA president and NAACP. I did all those things, right? So those kids is not getting that male mentorship in sports, they definitely need to get it from a club or organization, right? And I think that really does something to them. You know, I have guys now that were my mentoring program back then that I still talk to this day, you know, from 6 years ago, graduated this year, you know, say, hey, Mr. Wright, thank you. Really just going on to it. But I think that's the way we can build that community partnership. And in those male programs, bringing males in to help them from the community. So if the mayor's a black man, let them see the mayor in your school. If the manager at the Walmart up the street is a black man or a male, let them see them. You know, your principal, whoever it is you can bring in to talk to them, let them talk to them, you know, and break that barrier so that we can unite these schools with the community.
I love that. I'm interested in also knowing you guys' relationships with the students' parents. Like you just mentioned, if there is a need for you to get involved or have a conversation with a parent, if there's a disciplinary or, you know, a grade issue with a student, Kelcey, you'll definitely reach out. But do you find that you have an ease of relationship or flow of class with your students, with the relationships that you have with their parents?
So yes, I do.
Is there anything that a parent can do to also enhance your relationship with those students in your class or make it better?
I love part B. Part A, yes, it starts day one. As a teacher, we have to reach out. You know, we can't be afraid of parents. A lot of teachers are afraid of parents. They don't want to conflict with parents. But if you start day one with your syllabus, you know, and reaching out to parents, calling them one-on-one, that's how you can get them involved and talk to them like they're truly stakeholders, because they are. You know, they're paying your salary. You know, they're the ones in the community where the taxes are paying you. So treat them like they're honestly, like they're invested in their kids' education because they are. So I say just reach out, starting day one, and continue to reach out and talk to them like they're humans. How you doing, Miss? How you doing, Miss Kia? I know your son, has a hard day at school today. What can I do to help him? Just have an authentic conversation. Always don't call for negative. Call for positive reinforcement as well. I think that's another big one. And then part B, how can parents be involved? Get involved. Just that simple. Volunteer. Come to PTA meetings. Come to your parent-teacher conference. Answer the phone when we call you.
Okay.
I've been blocked. One parent, yes, parent had told me I'm too friendly. Why are you calling me so much? Just because their child was doing good, but that's my style, and I didn't stop. Block me for that. Don't do that. Have open line of communication with your teachers as well. Volunteer at the school. Like he was saying, coach was saying, come help out in the front office, help out in the classroom. Get your background check first. Gotta have that. But once you get that, get involved. I know I had one parent. I loved her so much. She would do all type of things for us. She'll come to the school, copy paper for us, help us out, like after school, come in and volunteer after hours. We were still there, see if we need anything. Those are the type of things that parents can do to really get involved. Volunteer, like just that simple. More than just going to the basketball games or football games. You go to a basketball game, football game, it's packed. Go to a PTA meeting, you got 3 parents. That's reality. That's a problem. We need to fix that. So I think that getting involved more than just when it's convenient and fun for you as a parent is what's going to make your child's education much better.
And to piggyback off what you were saying, man, I'm just talking about what you just said about they need to be involved in PTAs and stuff. We also, man, like I'm thinking right now that we need to make it more enjoyable for them to come. Get more. We would like to say they should want to come, but a lot of time, man, it'd be monotonous and boring. So, like, I think we have to come up with more innovative ways. Parents involved. Maybe we do a parent dance or something. You know what I'm saying? Something. I'm off the top of my head right now, but something to make them want to come. Even though they should do it on their own. Maybe it's something else to stop focusing on the problem and maybe come up with a solution on that end for parent involvement. But for coach, it's a little bit different, man. But when I worked middle school, we saw the whole school. The only time you're really going to hear from coach if you're not dressing out, which was funny because most coaches won't never call. They'll just give you a 70 and they'll never call. But the first time you don't dress out of my class, I call your parent. And the parent will make them feel so bad that they got called home for PE. And I used to always make it so like I was like, it's Coach Clark from Bear Creek, and I got your student on the line. Is she not dressing out? She said they'll say, you said this is a coach. I said, yo, they PE. I said, can you believe they fell in PE? And she's like, no, not PE, coach. And so like most people, we're one of the most liked specials, you know what I'm saying? So like we automatically get a lot of respect just off the subject that we teach. So it's a little bit different from classroom teachers when it's talking about parents. So that's one of the things that I know my gift is, that I could do more in that area. I could bridge the gap and like the morning show. Morning show is for parents, because they would say Coach Clark from the morning show come drop their kid. I don't know these people, but it was like Coach Clark from the morning show because they would tune in and listen to the music and play the different games and things like that. So like I said, being more innovative where parents wanna be a part of it. You gotta make it cool. You know what I'm saying? Like the football game is cool, basketball game is cool. So how can we make PTA cool? How can we make SGA cool? How can we make Beta Club cool? Like I think that's the solution, in my opinion.
I agree with you on that. Making it cool, and that's going to take some brainstorming. But take teachers to actually get together and brainstorm. How can we make it cool for parents to want to come in?
You know what it really gonna take, man? It just take spirit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They want to, man. Like we'll come into it with the mindset of it won't work. You feel me?
Yeah,
Or
we do.
it didn't work at this school, or I tried this before, but like come with the mindset like, man, we get 1, we get 2, we get 5.
That's progress.
That's how, and then you always gonna win. When you always gonna win like that, it's about the mindset. So like, it's really not the ideals more so than the spirit behind the ideal.
Yeah, I mean, education is always about growth. So if you get, like you said, if you get two parents this time, 15 the next time, that's great. I know we did a dance. It was like a ball for my mentoring program, and we partnered with some girls, and we taught the guys how to ballroom dance with the young ladies, and
That's
they
what I'm
had
saying.
to sell tickets and whatnot. Packed house. We transformed the cafeteria into an event center. I mean, had decorations hanging from the ceiling, white tablecloth affair. And the guys and the young ladies and the parents loved it so much. And parents told us, hey, if we have more stuff like this, we'll come. Of course, it
That's
took
what.
months to
There you go. You
prepare,
made it cool,
but
man.
yeah.
Like I said,
And they got to see their kids in 6th and 7th grade and 8th grade dress up in a ball gown. Their sons in tuxedos. So the kids are learning, the parents are seeing what they've learned. And guess what we did? We slid a quick little PTA meeting at the top, just before it started to get the parents involved. They was fine with that, We fed them. It was really cool. So things like that will get parents more involved. I like the fact that you said that, making it cool or engaging.
I'm with it. I'm actually one of those parents. I don't miss conferences. I need to know what's happening.
Yes.
And
good job.
especially now, and my son probably hates it, but with us being home, he was virtual because I'm probably the biggest germaphobe you will ever know. But he's been virtual, and you have things like him turning off his camera when he's supposed to be in a Zoom meeting, or him taking extra long to turn in or submit an assignment. So these are things his teacher, we'll call him Miss K. Miss K definitely would be, I tell her she can email me at any time. She can call at any time. They'll call me from the front desk. Oh, Kruma has a tardy or he was missing. Please give us a call or whatever. I'm in the know. I need to know. And I'm definitely not going to be that one passive parent that gets that and doesn't respond or doesn't take action. We're very, very active and hands-on with our children. So to affirm your suggestion, if anything that would help us to bridge a relationship between teachers and parents and make it a better, more fluid experience, if it could be fun and attractive or enticing, something like a dance or a parent teacher game night together. We could do bowling together. Not so much, PTA meetings where it's a fun activity for the kids to enjoy or it's like family life, but something more challenging. Like if we were to get together with the teachers and the parents and we all played a taboo together, or something along that line, I'm definitely there. As a parent, I would definitely show up. And then we could put, fun ways to slip in some questions or some things of concern to the parents. And I'm definitely an open ear. And I would suggest any parents that would be able to take anything from this conversation tonight from both of our educators is just to be open-minded, keep the lines of communication open, and be a genuinely honest parent when it comes to being interested in engaging with your child's educational journey, especially when they're just starting out with, that age of identity and, social pressure. And because now things are kind of confusing, especially with the things that are going on outside of education, right? You have the things that are going on day to day outside of the world or outside in the world that they have so many questions about. But that foundation, if that's sure and that's something that's stable and it's consistent and there's a routine and they can see that there's a fluid relationship between the educators and their parents, that'll make them more interested in wanting to be committed to doing their best and giving excellence in the classroom. So again, I thank you guys. I wanted to also just say we do have a segment on Chip Chat and Chill. It's called The Gag Is. So I mentioned it ahead of time. even though we're online and we're talking about Black male educators being underrepresented, or the Black educator being underrepresented as a whole, I would think, but more so Black male educators, you guys were way too much worthy of respect, of celebration, of acknowledgement, and of elevation throughout your educational journey, for me not to mention you two on my platform. So I want to thank you again for coming on. Now, the gag is Black male educators might be underrepresented. That might be a fact. However, the gag is what the devil meant for evil.
While we may be underrepresented, but we not. Our spirit is undeniable. So the gag is up, man. We gotta be better in spirit, with spirit, great mindsets, so we can change the culture. And so that gag is up.
That's what's up.
I like that. Good job. All right. So while we may be underrepresented, we are needed, right? We are the heartbeat of the education system. You know, we are the ones that are the life changers. We are the ones that can help change a child's trajectory, especially our males, right? If a male sees a male and a male is being mentored or taught by a male, their mindset could possibly change, right? So the gag is we are needed because we are game changers.
I love it. I love it. That was awesome, guys. Thank you so much for that wonderful conversation. I definitely appreciate your input. And to anyone that is listening, either on the Audible platform or on the YouTube channel, thank you again for your subscription. And thank you again for tuning in. I hope that you gained many life nuggets that you will take with you, either if you're a prospective educator in the classroom or if you're a parent in your home. It all starts at home. Please take care of being a responsible, engaged parent in your child's educational journey, and make that relationship with your educators that are good stewards over your students today. And please make sure that you celebrate them every chance that you get. Now that we have gone over all of our points, we can definitely get into my favorite part of the show, which is happy hour. This is adult recess, because as millennials, whether you're single, married, parent, nephew, godparent, uncle, whatever, adult recess is something we have to normalize. Wouldn't you agree?
Mm-hmm.
We gotta
Yeah.
talk about it. Especially now, the world is so heavy. We need to have more fun. So this is where we do that, all that. Now, we have a couple of questions. I have a would you rather game.
Oh, would you rather? Oh, okay, I'm ready.
Yeah. So, would you rather? I'm going to ask a series of questions. You can choose your option, either or that you would prefer. Would you rather? Would you rather have 4 periods lasting 80 minutes or 8 periods? Not that period. Okay. Would you rather have 4 periods lasting 80 minutes or 8 periods lasting 40 minutes?
4 periods lasting 80 minutes.
I'd rather have 8 periods lasting.
No.
You get more done in less time.
Not me.
No.
They're already 75 minutes now.
I know. That's true. Okay. Would you rather monitor standardized tests or grade a set of essays?
Monitor standardized tests.
I'd rather monitor standardized tests as well.
Me too.
Yeah.
Would you rather attend a workshop taught by a peer or lead a workshop filled with your coworkers?
Well, my job is option number 2 anyway. So option number 2, lead a workshop filled with my coworkers.
I would also like for my coworkers as well.
Would you rather year-round schooling with several weeks off in blocks or a traditional schedule with summers off?
Traditional.
It's wild that you asked. The third graders they had an opinion writing about which one would be better, and so I I had a pleasure of sitting in and listening to it, and I'm gonna have to go with this the year-round schedule because you get 3 weeks off, 6 weeks on.
That might
Nah,
actually work because we've been flirting with that idea as parents for the past 3 years as well. So I'm kind of for some states it actually works. So
Right.
yeah,
Then you just about if you vacation off peak, you know what I'm saying? You can get better deals, you can go more places.
exactly. That might work. Would you rather counsel a student through a breakup or listen to a colleague describe an argument with his or her spouse?
counsel a student through a breakup any day. Any day.
Both of them kind of filled with drama.
Right.
You know what, man? I'm gonna help the spouse, man. I'm gonna help the spouse, man, because we need them together. We need to keep them together. So, you know, the child breakup, they're gonna get over that. But you know what I'm saying? We need to keep so let me help counsel the older people and they
I know that.
They can have it. I'm a teacher, so I can deal with kids.
Right.
Grown people, something else.
Yeah, this is true. I think I would rather counsel the student. Would you rather, last one, would you rather chaperone a school dance or a sporting event?
School dance.
Give me the sport event.
Yeah. So I'm gonna say school. I'm gonna tell you why I say school dance though, real quick. I say school dance because you really get to see all the kids at school dance, and like they get so free, especially when you go over there and start doing the whatever they do, all that stuff. They just think that you're so cool if you can do all the dances they do, and you just won behavior management points in your classroom.
Absolutely.
They love that. Trust me, I know.
Awesome.
Hey, follow me on TikTok. One country. Follow me on TikTok.
TikTok.
Got you. We got you, Emory. All right, Coach. And then the last one we have for tonight, our game, we have our special flagship game on Chip Chatter Show. We call this New Name Who This. New Name Who This. So usually what I do ahead of time, I give you guys, our guests, and my co-host Desmond, a list of names. And when we come on to the show, you'll have to guess what Emory's new name is or what Kelcey's new name is and vice versa. I put a little twist on it tonight. Everything is kind of like Educator theme. This New Name Who This game, you're going to have to guess a series of names. I have 4 that I've marked up, and they are all school cafeteria lunch themed. So you're going to have to guess what name it is. The gag is drum roll. You have to guess whenever you talk like this.
I did a lesson on that for special needs.
To speak out of the
New name. Who this? Y'all ready?
Yep.
All right. Name number 1. Sweet corn and tater tot. Fish taco Tuesday Jenkins.
sweet corn and tater tots, fish taco Tuesday.
Oh, okay.
Fish taco Tuesday Jenkins.
What? Dickens? What's the last thing you said? Fish taco Tuesday.
Jenkins.
I don't know that last one. You know the last one? I don't know that one.
Jenkins.
Jenkins. Jenkins. Oh, Jenkins. Jenkins, yeah. Got it. Okay.
All right. Now let's go. Green casserole, turkey burger tossing.
I heard turkey.
Casserole. I heard green bean casserole.
And then I heard turkey after that.
Green casserole and turkey burger tossing.
Turkey wet.
Turkey
Thompson.
Turkey
Thompson
burger
last name. Did she say Thompson for the last name?
Thompson. Okay, Turkey Thompson. Okay.
Turkey
I ain't get that one.
Turkey and dressing.
Turkey and Thompson.
Turkey something Thompson. That's all I know. Green bean casserole and turkey something Thompson.
What goes
Turkey teriyaki.
Turkey yogurt.
Turkey yogurt.
Turkey yogurt.
Dressing.
Turkey
Yogurt.
Yaggat. All you said is yaggat.
Burger.
Burger.
Yes.
Hey!
Burger. Green bean casserole and turkey burger.
Green bean casserole and turkey burger.
We done had turkey burger in school. We had them little flat.
We had mystery meat.
Yeah, we had them little hamburgers that had like the little tic-tac-toe board in it. With cheese that stuck to it and didn't come off the bread.
Green bean casserole and turkey burger.
You must have had that. I don't know what you had. That's disgusting.
Yeah. Now I'm thirsty. Waffle pie and meatloaf Ellis.
Nah, I'll say that all over again.
Waffle pie and meatloaf Ellis.
Waffle fries
And
wheat.
Meatloaf Ellis.
Lettuce. Waffle fry.
And Chick-fil-A sandwich.
Meatloaf Ellis.
Meat. Meatloaf. Ellis. Ellis. Waffle fries and meatloaf Ellis.
All right. Oh, this thing hurt. Okay, last one. No more. Okay. Slush puppy, roast beef, and mashed potato cock.
Hush puppies.
Now she said slush. Adam said slush puppy. Oh, I heard
What's
that.
a slush puppy?
It's a slushy. It's a slushy. You
The Vita Puffs. That's what a slush puppy.
Yeah.
With the little dog.
Yeah.
Slush puppies and roast beef.
Roast beef and mashed potato cock.
And mashed potatoes.
Yeah. Mashed
Roast
potato.
beef and mashed potato cock. Roast beef.
Roast beef.
And mashed potato.
Cock.
Clark. Golly. I get a lesson from my regular ed kids for the speech impediment. If I had a speech impediment, how would they be able to, how could I help them as a teacher? If I was a teacher with a speech impediment, how could I service them? And that was interesting. It was hard.
Yeah.
It was like how it was. Oh, pretty cool.
Yeah, that was hard. That was you made me think. Teachers don't think in summertime.
I had to turn your
We
brain
are in a
on.
break.
Well, I appreciate you turning on your brain for Chips Out and Chill. We appreciate the effort.
It's about to go back off. Don't worry.
All right, fellas. Well, Emory and Kelcey, thank you again for sharing your stories and your experience. I wish you the best in all of your endeavors. Congratulations on your most recent successes, and I look forward to watching for more to unfold in the future. Right now, we've had a great conversation. We've chatted, we chilled. We had a good adult recess time and happy hour. We had fun games to play. And now it's time to go. But before we take that check, is there any carry-out tip you are leaving with today or that you would leave our listeners with tonight?
Coach.
I want you all to, I read this book that changed my life called The Four Agreements. And one thing I want you, do your best, man. If you do your best, think everything else will follow suit, man. So that's my 10%. I'm gonna leave him 10%. So y'all get y'all tilts in. I'm gonna leave him 10%. Do your best.
Awesome. Kelcey.
Just keep working hard, keep supporting, and being who you are. You know, everyone out there that's an aspiring educator, when you get into that classroom, be you. Don't try to be something that you're not. The students out there that may be watching, you know, be great. You know, just be great and be you.
I love it. Thank you, guys. And to everybody watching, what I would like to leave on the table is definitely remain consistent, remain open-minded, and continue to be excellent. I know that we've talked about underrepresentation, but for those of you that can identify with Emory and Kelcey, thank you for your dedication and your commitment. Thank you for your care and your patience. And thank you for going the extra mile. And I look forward to seeing what the future will hold for you guys. You guys will definitely be impactful. Don't ever think you're not impactful. Underrepresentation does not mean lack of impact. You do make a difference. You do matter. Your voice does matter. And the more that you speak out and the more that you encourage those that are under your wing and speak with those mentors of yours, if you continue to build that bridge and build a bigger amount of community around you, this will be something that we could look forward to in the future and say, remember we talked about that on the Chip Chat and Chill, and now look, wow, how we've grown, how we've elevated. So I definitely want to continue to celebrate you all. Thank you for every Black male educator. Thank you for every Black female educator. I love you all and I appreciate you. I celebrate you at Chip Chat and Chill. We love you and we wish you all the best. And guys, what a show. Thank you so much. Did you guys have fun?
Great time. Great time.
When I come back.
Yeah, win part 2. I got a lot to say.
Man, you tell me. I'll put you guys on the bus anytime. I have enjoyed you guys. It's a delight to have you on the show. And as I always say in closing, everyone, please stay safe, live well, love yourself, and then bring back some friends right here to Chip Chat and Chill. Have a good one.